11 o'clock, it's the Wednesday edition of Three Man Front. Voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart. Coming up momentarily, presented by Craneworks First Hour. Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider, gave us his college basketball picks. In case you missed that, does like the Texas Longhorns, +7, +7.5, wherever you get it, as they travel to Neville Arena, take on the Auburn Tigers tonight. Last night, Alabama, big winner over Missouri, 90-64. Latrell Wrightsell, 7 threes, 7 of 10 from outside. Tide was really good from the outside as opposed to what we got on Saturday night versus Tennessee. Alabama moves to 14-6 overall, 4-3 in Southeastern Conference play, and they get ready for the Florida Gators coming up this weekend. Coming up right now, it is the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, presented by our friends at Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah, the big dog's got it.
Crimson Tide Network's Chris Stewart on Three Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Chris Stewart.
And Chris joins us as all of our guests do on the Higginbotham Hotline. Mr. Stewart, hope you're doing well. A lot to get into, but I do have to ask, in all of your play-by-play, whether this had been at Birmingham Southern, Alabama, doing a high school game, when's the last time you saw a team shoot it as poorly as Missouri did last night, especially from the foul line?
Yeah, that's funny because it's the second interview I've done today, and that was the first question.
Really?
That I got on the other one too, and I'm going, no, I can't. And I remember watching, it kind of hit me at one point, and I think they were like 5 of 16 at the time that came. I looked at it and realized just how bad it was. I mean, there weren't a lot of like close misses. It's like, chipping glass and bending the rim type of
clangers
stuff. That was, oh man, we're about 25 rows up, and I was dodging some of those coming off the rim. It was ugly. And it's pretty weird because, coming in, Mark Mitchell's their best player. He lit us up last year for 31. He's about a 70% shooter, I think, coming into the game, and he goes 1 for 8. And again, most of those weren't even close. So just weird. I don't know what it was, but they were consistent throughout the night. They were 8 of 23.
Yikes. From
the free throw line. Bama made 23 of their 26. And they're again, it's more to it than just this. But Alabama, in the fast break, outscored Mizzou by 14. So transition points there's a 14-point difference. There's a 15-point difference at the free throw line, and they shot about the same number. Those are two areas you can point to why that game got out of control. I'm not saying Missouri wins, but it's a much different game if they just shoot the same percentage or close to it that Alabama did, and had they also done what they've done a pretty good job with most of the year, and that's play games at their pace. But when it got into Alabama's pace, it was no contest.
It was interesting because you were part of history. I read where it was one of the Missouri papers that it was the 6th worst free throw shooting game in the history of Missouri basketball. And I was like thinking, if that was the 6th worst, my goodness gracious, I can't even imagine what the other 5 look like.
We're going back to Naismith and the peach basket and the ladder.
That was my point, is that I was about to say, it's really kind of an innovative deal because after the 5th one of those, the peach basket actually broke open at the bottom just because it had been jarred so much. And that's where the whole idea of let's just go ahead and rip it out there and hits modern basketball as we know it was built.
Isn't that how the donut came about? Wasn't it an accident?
Probably.
I don't know. Pat has a great
I
question.
had a 2.6 at an NAIA school, guys. Don't ask me anything of any requirements, academic requirements.
Well, before I ask you about Charles Bediako and his return to Alabama, there is a little bit of breaking news that would like to share with our audience. The motion to recuse Judge James H. Roberts Jr. in the eligibility case of Charles Bediako has been granted. A new judge will be assigned to the case. So Roberts, as it's been reported, is an Alabama athletics donor. The NCAA filed the motion to recuse him, and that motion has been accepted. So there will be a new judge to that case. I'm not asking you the legal ramifications of this, Chris, because there's many different layers to this peeling of the onion back. But I just want to ask you about Charles Bediako, what you have seen in the first two games, because statistically speaking and what he's been able to do in the paint, it seems like he has been a welcome addition.
There's no doubt that's the case, but it's not as if he's doing anything different than what he did when he played there in 2023. You know, when he was there and finished up his career, as we thought 3 years ago, in a Bama uniform. He's not a guy that's going to beat you from 3-point range. He's not going to drive it to the basket. He is a score at the rim, 7-footer. They've done a great job of using pick and roll with him and, getting him around the basket, getting him opportunities there. And I think he had, 13 in his first game, I believe 14 last night, 6 rebounds. Last night didn't have any block shots, but he alters, a couple in 17 minutes. I'll tell you where there's been improvement. Again, I know it's only 2 games. It's not a huge body of work, but Charles always struggled with free throws. And he has made, I think, 9 of 10 combined in the first 2 games since he's been back. And he's always had a shot that looked good, but it was as if his hands were so big and he just couldn't get the shot the right distance, depth, whatever on it. But, at least, again, through the first 2 games, we'll take 9 out of 10 from a big man who is going to get fouled when you're at the rim as much as he is. So, yeah, he's a difference because you got Aiden, and they started Sherelle at the 4 last night, Bediako at the 5, and Aiden shoots it so well from the outside, in addition to being obviously a guy who can score at the bucket. It's a heck of a combo. It is. But, I think he's going to be as or more valuable off the bench than he will even in a starting role because it does give you another option at the 5 when Aiden leaves the floor or, as again was the case in the start last night, allows you to play Aiden at the 4, Bediako at the 5, and just gives you a better rebounding presence and opportunity. It's interesting. Sherelle and Bediako combined for 7 rebounds last night. Taylor Bowen and Houston Millette combined for 18. And Bowen's not a small player by any stretch. He's thin, but he's got phenomenal reach, and they've been wanting him to be more active, and he certainly was. But Houston's just a guy that's going to work his tail off whatever length of time he's on the floor and whatever it is he's doing. So not shocking that he would have 8 boards for you. But again, he's not one of the bigger guys you'll find either on that roster. It's just I think that was kind of indicative of the night. Guys working hard, hustling, and taking care of business, even though they may not fit the mold of what their roles may be.
How has been the process, because you've gotten to witness it more or as much as anyone in being around the team, whether it's in pregame shoot-arounds and walkthroughs, but for Charles Bediako to come back, and it seemed somewhat seamless as far as what we saw with him being implemented on Saturday, what we saw last night. Is that a byproduct of being in the system, do you believe, Chris, and knowing Nate Oates' system? Because you're playing with new teammates, or is that just basketball by its very nature and easier to do than maybe some other sports?
that's a piece of it, but I think really it's threefold. One, it is the system being very similar. Um, I think that's a major part of it. Another big piece is that if you've ever met Charles and been around him any length of time, there's just not a better guy. He's not a guy that's going to come in and disrupt a locker room and disrupt a situation. A lot of the guys knew him, but a lot of them didn't until he walked in last week. But they all loved him and understand that he's there and wants to help and just wants to finish out his time because this would have been year 5 for him anyway. Had he stayed all the way through, this would have been year 5 for him. So um, it's not dramatically out. It's different. It's unique. Uh, Frankly, as it relates to American players, it's probably historic. But when you break it down, it's not that far out of the realm of possibility just from a timeline standpoint. So there are guys that do remember him and his reputation. And Nate said it himself. If this guy was trouble in any way, there's no way he brings him in because you can do far more harm than good. But his personality, who he is, makes it easy. But also the locker room understands, and he's not taking a roster spot from anybody. You got guys that are out, probably aren't going to play again. He fills a void. Is he taking minutes from anybody? Maybe Noah Williamson, but Noah's not going to be a 20-minute player per game anyway for you. So we got better. You've done it with a great chemistry guy, in addition to somebody who obviously fits the need that you have. And it's been much welcomed, given the depletion of the roster in some different spots in many different times this year.
So last night, Holloway comes back. In regards to this next stretch, I mean, it's the SEC. It's every night. It's going to be tough, but the next 3, especially on the docket, 3 challenging contests, starts this weekend down in Gainesville, Florida. The overall health of this team right now, where are they? And do you anticipate more bodies being able to participate over the coming weeks?
Yeah, if you get Amari Allen back, you've basically got your roster returning. And look, that's a huge, huge piece. He would have been massive in terms of the matchup with Tennessee the other night. He was a piece that was definitely missing on the defensive end, in addition to what he can do on offense, but especially on the defensive end. But you're right. Holloway was good. He only made 1 out of 4 3-point attempts, but he had 8 assists. Draws a lot of attention. And Latrell Wrightsell, he's not going to go 7 of 10 every game from 3, but he will absolutely help you in a big way when he's healthy. But his stat line was great. He turned it over once in 25 minutes, 2 steals, 2 assists, and goes 7 of 10 for 3 with 5 rebounds. I mean, he's your probably your best perimeter defender as well. So just a great addition, and everybody gave you something. And it was a lot of fun to watch this team play at the level they did last night, and it does make you more excited that if you can get Amari back and can have him maybe a day or 2 of practice before we head to Gainesville on Sunday, that team gets even better, and you need them to be against a squad that's a little ticked after losing their last game. They'll play tonight and try to get back in rhythm. But regardless, they'll be very, very tough, especially in their own place.
I don't know if you heard or saw the comments, probably did. Ty Golden on his Gators call-in show last week, he was asked about the Bediako situation. He basically paraphrasing says, hey, we'll beat him with him. We'll beat him without him. I wonder, bulletin board material, we talk about it a lot when it comes to college football. How much of that, or maybe the sound belt, do you believe has been noticed by Alabama, could be possibly used? I don't know how much more motivation you need to go on the road in Gainesville.
Well, with Coach Golden, not shy, and y'all know Nate Oates isn't. So this, the the pregame interviews could rival an old Georgia championship wrestling match between Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair in terms of the trash being talked on there. I think it's going to make for a great deal. And again, it's a Sunday game, which is very rare. Nate and I were talking about it last night. It's been a long time since the SEC, I think, has had a Sunday game, and that's a move that's made to kind of take the sports void of having an NFL playoff, with this being the open week before the Super Bowl. So it's a great opportunity. Not that all the games aren't already on television, but to be in this window on a Sunday is very rare, and speaks to the draw that both Alabama and Florida have. Certainly the Gators with their championship last season. So those two will help sell the intensity of the game, and I won't be shocked if there's a ton of eyeballs on SEC hoops on Sunday down in Gainesville.
Yep. Last time the Tide won in Gainesville, Chris, I believe the 21-22 season. Does that sound right? Sure.
I was thinking there was one since then. We don't play there every year anymore. But that sounds right. I think, because that would have been 22 SEC slate.
I was trying to
So
remember
that
that
sounds right.
game. I thought Alabama came out and they were on fire. Well, maybe not. They were 9 of 32, as it turns out. I'm going back and looking at the last time
Yeah.
Anyways, it hasn't been 30 years, but it would be nice to get a win for Nate Oates and the Tide there. And a tough place to play.
It would definitely be nice and needed, because you don't need to fall any further back. I don't think this is going to be A&M's leading the league with one loss right now, and I think it's going to be the team that wins it is going to have at least 3, maybe even 4. But if you want to be in that mix and have a chance going down the stretch, you can't afford to lose much more ground. And Alabama's 2 games back, or 1.5, whatever it is right now. So they got work to do, and not an easy place to get it done in Gainesville.
He's Chris Stewart, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He will be on the call there courtside in Gainesville coming up at noon on Sunday. That's Sunday, February the 1st, and you get the noon tip there. Chris, you're always brought to us by our friends at Craneworks, and they've been helping us out, whether it's Craneworks, Wasteworks, Rental Works, with so many of their different divisions around the Southeast for so many years.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's an honor to represent the most trusted name for crane and equipment rental in the South. They've got a fleet of cranes, whether you're talking about, and it sounds weird to say smaller, but when you're talking about cranes 2.5 tons on the small end up to 500 tons. Craneworks also has trained and certified operators, making sure the job's done right for you. They got locations, Birmingham, Nashville, Mobile, and up in Huntsville too. Go online to learn more, craneworks.com.
Chris, we always appreciate the time. Thank you. Safe travels this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Look forward to it, guys. Thanks so much.
Chris Stewart, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, presented by Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. If you missed the breaking news, the judge in the Charles Bediako case, Judge James Jim Roberts, has recused himself. What that means, we'll discuss it next on Three Man Front.
Appreciate Chris Stewart joining us each and every week, brought to you by Craneworks. Excellent recap of last night's game as Alabama knocks off the Missouri Tigers. It's on to Gainesville, Florida, a rare Sunday game in conference play as they'll take on the defending national champion Florida Gators. During the interview, news broke that the motion to recuse the judge, James H. Roberts Jr., in the eligibility case of Alabama's Charles Bediako has been granted per court documents. A new judge will be assigned to the case. Roberts is an Alabama athletics donor. The NCAA filed the motion to recuse him. Now, no new judge is listed on the Bediako case, and Roberts' order instructs Judge Alan May, the next senior judge, to reassign the case. Now, not saying that May is going to be the judge that is ultimately going to be the person to hear the case, but he is the next senior judge, and he either, I suppose, Landrum, he could either pass it on to another judge in that office, or he could do it himself. And if you want to know about Alan May, who's the next senior judge, he grew up in Tuscaloosa. He earned a finance degree in business administration from Auburn University. He earned a master's degree in journalism from the University of Missouri and his law degree from the University of Alabama School of Law. So undergrad Auburn, got a master's at the University of Missouri.
So we almost got 25% of the SEC represented.
Yes.
With this judge.
And he went to Alabama Law School. So if he does hear the case, I can't wait to hear people bellyache. Now, I have no idea, and I have not scoured over Alabama traditions or Alabama to see if Judge Alan May has given hundreds of thousands of dollars to the University of Alabama.
People are trying to figure that out right now.
Yes. So once again, Roberts has recused himself, and it will now be up to Judge Alan May to decide whether he will hear the case or will be passed along to another judge.
I'm just like a lot of people in this. I don't know the way that this works moving forward, but I would think that this would delay it even more. And maybe I think he's going to play the rest of the season anyways. Yeah. But if you're anxious about it and you think, oh, are they going to say that he can't play? Wouldn't you think that a judge recusing himself here delays it even more?
Well, here's my thing. Is Judge May, is he going to pass it along to somebody in Tennessee? I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would think that it's gonna stay in the office, and he might be the one that will hear it himself. I don't know enough about the law or how that particularly works, but according to the order, Judge May would be the person to assign it on to the next judge.
And when would the next process be?
I don't know. I've not seen a date
or deal.
So,
because I would think after this next one and whoever rules, that would be the final one until after the season, right? Unless something barring a Supreme Court or.
Yeah, the one that got delayed on Tuesday because someone from the NCAA could not make their way to Tuscaloosa because of the weather situation. That was going to be potentially a permanent order that would have allowed Bediako to play the rest of the season. Because what he has now is a temporary, which is only supposed to be like 10 days. And because of the situation with the weather, it was extended another 10 days. It's just a temporary order by the court. And so now they're waiting on a permanent order once they can have a hearing.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure that Judge Roberts probably heard all he wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, just the way that the nation erupted and came after Judge Roberts. I mean, that's why I
don't know how it went down, but sure Judge Roberts was not like, I wasn't running down the hall waving my hand like, I want this case. I want this case. Please give it to me. But now after the backlash he's gotten nationally,
I wish that this next judge, I wish he would be the one that would rule on it, because I would love to see an Auburn graduate, master's degree from Missouri, went to Alabama Law School. Like what? Like where's your angle about how this is home cooking? Like how is that? Because he grew up in Tuscaloosa. Well, he's an undergrad at Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up in Tuscaloosa, but he went across the state.
What's his name again?
Judge Alan May.
How do you spell his Alan? A-L-A-N or two
Ian,
L's?
Ian, and it's M-A-Y.
He also played hockey in Canada.
I think that might be the wrong Alan May. I'm just going out on a limb.
Okay.
He was named by Governor Robert Bentley. He was a longtime Tuscaloosa attorney, and then the former governor, when he was governor, appointed him to the Tuscaloosa County Circuit Court. I think that was back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Alan May.
That's him.
Got a good head of hair. I point that out for anybody who hasn't Googled.
It's Drake's dad, right?
Don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You were out of the room, but he's got his undergrad at Auburn. Master's degree from Mizzou, went to Alabama.
Finally, we get justice.
I like that. It's not biased, so everyone's going to be even more mad when
But he
Charles
might not-
Bediako
It was
is
like
able
the
to play rest
conversation
of the year.
yesterday. Do you go out of your way to find a judge that hates Alabama? Is that?
Like if you
It doesn't work that way either,
If
right?
you feel really good about the case, maybe you do, because you're like, well, we're going to get our way anyway. So this way,
Can we find a
kinda cover
judge
our butt.
that has never been exposed to college athletics?
Good luck with that. You're gonna have to go up to the Northeast probably to find something.
Oh, you go out to California
Maybe
and find one.
West Coast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, he's supposed to reassign it, or I guess he can take it himself. So he may not be the ultimate judge in the case, but I've already done a little bio work on him just in case folks nationally
I'm profiling here, but I think Judge May wants this case.
See, I was about. Well, if the judge goes, no, I want it.
I
Like
think
if you're Alabama, do you go? Maybe we don't want that guy.
Yeah, and he's basing that completely on the picture.
On the picture, he looks like he absolutely wants this case.
And because he's got a great head of hair.
And I want cameras in the courtroom. I don't know. They do it in a courtroom? How's that go? Or is it just an office?
So tell me this, Charles. I'm looking at a 13.5 for tonight. You think you're going to go over that or less than that, or before I make my ruling?
Charles, I'm going to say what I want to say, but first I do have a question. How are you so much better shooting free throws now?
It's all at G League practice. All right, we will get to your text messages, your calls as well as we roll on this Wednesday three-man front. Well, we've got another defection from the Live Tour. You know, first it was Brooks Koepka. Not that you know the Live roster, but who would you like to see that's currently in Live to come back to the PGA Tour?
Golly, I've forgotten all those golfers. Let's bring back.
Is John Rahm still live?
He's still Live.
Is Sergio still live?
Yes.
Keep him there.
Okay. You're not a Sergio fan.
Don't prefer Sergio.
I like Rahm. Rahm went to Arizona State.
Yeah, well, there you go. I like, isn't Cameron Smith on live? I think. I like Cam Smith.
Cameron Smith. If the PGA Tour needed a heel,
Is DeChambeau back?
It's not DeChambeau. Probably one of the least liked professional golfers. I know some will say Brooks Koepka, but he's coming back.
Bubba Watson.
No, not Bubba. Not the University of Georgia's Bubba Watson.
What about the other University of Georgia guy? Oh, he's still PGA, isn't he?
I don't know is Phil unliked?
Everyone hates Phil.
Okay, that's what I thought. So
But it's not Phil.
It's not Phil?
It's not Phil.
Okay.
Except for his bookie.
Correct. I'm a big fan of Phil.
DJ.
No.
Patrick Reed.
Bingo.
That's who I was thinking, the other Georgia golfer, Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed is coming back to the PGA. So he's taking advantage of what Brooks Koepka, the return to the PGA Tour program that they have.
Yeah.
And he'll be eligible, I believe, on August the 25th.
He's a good heel for the PGA.
See?
Yeah. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Patrick Reed, he is leaving Live Golf. He plans to make the return to the PGA Tour later this season. He'll be eligible starting August the 25th. A quote that has been circulated, I always saw myself coming back to the PGA Tour, end of quote. I bet you the Live guys would have loved to have had him tell them that before they signed him to a contract. I cannot find the details of his contract with Live. Because remember, Brooks Koepka got, oh my gosh, it's like $100 million signing bonus, and it was insane. So Patrick Reed, I don't know what Liv was paying him, but he says, I always saw myself coming back to the PGA.
Well, at least he's honest. I got a huge payday.
Meanwhile, the Saudis are sitting there going, thanks, American. Thanks for being honest with us.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like they didn't expect all of these golfers to just take the money and then eventually, like, did they really not think this would happen?
It's the American way.
Yeah.
Did they really think Liv was actually going to, like, overtake They probably did legitimately think Liv was going to.
This is the money grab, and then you go back to your normal life.
Yeah. It's just like Charles Bediako, right? This is a money grab, and then he's going to go back to his normal life after the season. It's the same thing.
Pretty much.
Now, I don't think he's making Live Golf money, but,
You never know.
It's good to have Patrick Reed back. I can't find his contract details either, but if they're like any of the other contracts, it was just stupid money.
Mm-hmm. Especially because he was one of those guys at the very beginning that jumped to the Live, and I would think that those first group of golfers that took the deal, they got some pretty good money, like life-changing money.
His deal was reported to be around $40 million.
Total?
To go to Live.
Well, that was his bonus.
It says this just says his initial deal in 2022 with Live Golf was worth around $40 million.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't have the Koepka deal.
No, so that would have been a 3-year deal that he had for 40.
It looks like his signing bonus was 40, and then through career earnings and Live, he made roughly $42 million.
So a total of 82 then.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can go over there, you
a lot
get
of money.
money that
Can
you
you
know
live
you're
off 82
absolutely. Some people can.
And you would have to slum it.
Yeah.
82 million.
Well, 82 million for someone who's got billions of dollars. That's probably a anxious time in their day if they check their balance and it's only 82 million. Oh gosh, honey, slow down. Don't buy anything today.
You know, it was interesting. I saw a quote from John Rahm, and Rahm said that he was happy.
Well, I'm looking at a list right now of the top career earners from Live Golf, and John Rahm is at the top of that list.
Yeah.
He has made $75 million, not including the money they gave him to sign over there.
Yeah.
So
Rahm's
he's doing
fine,
all
and
right.
we still get him at Augusta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let's just be honest. I mean, most people,
You're not watching the John Deere Classic to see if John Rahm's going to play.
no. We talked about it before. You might not like NASCAR, but so many of you will tune in to Daytona or from a local perspective, Talladega, but you're not following the circuit the whole way. Now, there are people that do that. I'm not saying that there's not, but I'm saying the casual fan, just like there are casual football fans that won't watch an NFL game all year long, but guess what? You're going to be at a Super Bowl party a week from Sunday, and you're going to be watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. And I think even if you're not a golf fan, you will tune in to the Masters. So having some of these big names that were already going to be playing in the Masters anyway, but to have those guys back on the tour.
This live thing never made sense to me. And with the amount of money that they're giving to these guys, I just thought at this time that live would be much bigger and there'd be a lot more exposure than there has been. I still don't think, I think I've seen one of their tournaments by accident, and I saw it on the internet feed that they were on.
Yeah, because for a short time they were on CW.
Does anyone that you know go out of their way to watch live golf?
No.
No, well, I was about to say, I don't know if y'all agree, but for me at least, I'd rather watch TGL. I'd rather watch that than live.
Mm-hmm.
That's more entertaining.
Not to mention the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, I think this year Liv has extended to a 4-day tournament. You remember? That was one of the drawing things. Was like, hey, look, come to Liv.
3-day tournament. We have team names, music in the car.
And you
Wear
play
what
short,
you want.
and you can wear shorts.
Yeah.
That was the.
We're going to take the
deal.
stuffiness out of golf.
Yes.
Well, didn't work for the Saudis and didn't work for Happy Gilmore too either.
This was. Then again, how many billions of dollars are we talking about in this hedge fund? 600, 700 that started live. So it's just bad business debt. You just write it up.
Well, and wasn't it reported that, and credit him for turning it down, but wasn't it reported that they were offering Tiger somewhere around $700 or $800 million to come and join Live Golf? That's insane.
But that tells you that they knew what his answer was going to be.
Absolutely, but they also knew that if he said yes, I would have watched Live Golf to watch Tiger, as many other people
I think
would.
a lot of people would.
Someone letting us know that Patrick Reed just won this past weekend.
Did he really? I wonder how much money. Well,
Goes out on top.
Well, you said his total earnings was
About
2
42.
million.
42 million total
Mhm.
so far he's been on the tour. Wow.
All those guys are fine. I think they'll be okay.
Very much so.
You pay taxes on that?
Yeah, how does that work?
Ooh.
With blood money. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm just wondering about the taxes. Not where the money came from.
I don't.
Just how much you having to pay.
Conrad and the sports washing of money.
Well, I'm just saying, is like maybe there's a loophole with that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just I'm like you. I don't know where to go after that.
Apparently, he was on team 4 Aces.
That's a good segue. That's good.
Oh, Fireballs. I bet that's that's Sergio's group. Yeah. All right. 3-man front. We continue on Jocks. 11:48, three-man front. We continue. Trey Wallace, our favorite college football guy, joins us at 12:30. How about Noto Roofing, especially with the storms, the impact to the southeast here in the state of Alabama? And it's always a good idea to make sure that your home, maybe your biggest investment, is protected, and that is with your roof. Got a great locally owned and operated company in Noto Roofing. You're going to deal directly with the owners, brothers Sammy and Matt. Known these guys for a long time. They're going to take care of you. They'll work alongside your insurance company if you need them to, and they can assist you in the claims process. Chris, one of their trusted professionals that's been in the roofing industry for almost 3 decades, he'll come to your house. He's going to be very honest and open about what he finds. He's going to walk the roof, walk it, and he's going to make sure that everything is operating perfectly, that everything functions right. That means your gutter system. That means flashing around your fireplace, all of that stuff, ventilation inspections. They want to make sure everything is right once they get the job done right, because they will do that. They offer the free inspections to all Jocks listeners. You're going to get warranties available as well. It's Noto Roofing. Call today for the free inspection, 205-848-2299. That's notoroofing.com. Always tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
Well, we've been hearing a lot lately about the NCAA not allowing players extra years of eligibility. Well, Auburn football got some good news yesterday. Dallas Walker, the fourth, he receives an additional year of eligibility by the NCAA. Walker will be the 7th-year player next fall. 7 years. But his eligibility clock adds up to give him another season because Walker began at Texas A&M in 2020. So that season did not count because of the COVID-19. He redshirted in 2021. Then he did not play football in 2022 while enrolled at Texas A&M. He then played 2 seasons at Western Kentucky and last year at Auburn. So from a depth piece, that's a really good one. Dallas Walker IV gets an additional year, so he will be a productive member of the Auburn defensive line coming up. So
Can't ever have enough of those guys.
No, you can't. So many times on this show, we're telling you that the NCAA has denied another year of eligibility, but this is a case where Dallas Walker IV does indeed get an additional year of eligibility. Speaking of Auburn, they'll be hosting the Texas Longhorns tonight. As you heard Stephen Pearl on our show yesterday. He's talking about that Texas is the most dangerous team, in his opinion, in the Southeastern Conference. You already saw what Texas did against Alabama at Coleman Coliseum. Now, Auburn has held each of its last 3 opponents to under 70 points and less than 40% shooting from the floor. When that happens, the Tigers are 7-0 this season when they're holding their opponents under 40% shooting. So that's an important key watching that game tonight or listening to it here on Jocks. But during Auburn's 3-game winning streak, the Tigers have played with the lead for a total of 107 minutes, and they've only trailed by 4 minutes during that span. That's pretty incredible. So in 111 minutes of basketball, the last 111 minutes, Auburn has led in 107 of those 111.
And they haven't shot it particularly well from the outside. I don't know if that's going to be this team, but what they've done is they got a lot of points in the paint. You limit your turnovers. And what they did against Florida, and that's what's so key in getting off to those quick starts, getting the foul line. They were 19 of 21.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's a great segue because in the last 3 games, and we talked about how bad Mizzou was last night against Alabama, Auburn has shot 82% in their last 3 games from the charity stripe.
Yep.
That's solid.
They add up.
They do. And you mentioned 19 of 21 against the Florida Gators. Big reason for them win. So that'll be a good one tonight as Texas, the most dangerous team, according to Stephen Pearl.
Well,
what he told me in Landrum yesterday.
What did he tell us? He said they've got 3 guys that can take over a game at any time. Mm-hmm. Said the most talented. He thinks the best team in the league is Florida, but the most talented might be the Texas Longhorns.
Mm-hmm. And dangerous.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. According to all the bracketologists out there, Texas currently is on that 11 line, one of those last SEC teams that might get a bid to the NCAA tournament. Will go a long way if they were able to pull the upset tonight. They're about a 7.5 point underdog against the Auburn Tigers. Alabama wins last night against Missouri, 90-64. Bama made 15 3-pointers in that game. Reitzel, 7 3-pointers for 21 points for the Tide. So Alabama now 14-6, 4-3 in the SEC. If you want to know about Bediako, had another good night, 14 points, 6 rebounds for the Tide. And speaking of Bediako, the motion to recuse Judge James H. Roberts Jr. in the eligibility case of Charles Bediako, he has decided to recuse himself. And so now Judge Alan May, the next senior judge in Tuscaloosa, he will reassign the case. And if you're wondering about Judge Alan May, he grew up in Tuscaloosa. He has a finance degree in business administration from Auburn University, earned a master's degree in journalism from the University of Missouri, law degree from the University of Alabama School of Law. So he is SEC all over the place.
I like the journalism degree from Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this. When he graduated from the University of Missouri, they were a member of the Big 12, or possibly the Big 8. I have to go back and look how old Mr. May is.
This might have been a bigger problem, you're saying, if Charles Bediako was a member of the Kansas basketball team. Because we know that there's no love lost between those two, right? Missouri and Kansas.
No, border war. No, not at all. No, it's ugly. Do not like each other.
By the way, a kid that plays for Texas tonight, that he's a transfer from Purdue, but it's Camden Heidi. Got to meet his parents have relocated now. They've relocated to Orange Beach, and they're down there, and got to meet his mom. I know his mom and his dad, they live down there, but great people. But he was one of those guys last year out of the transfer portal from Purdue. His dad played at Purdue, but transferred to Texas. So he's a member of that squad this year.
How about Purdue losing?
I know. To Indiana. That's Indiana's first, I think, quad one win.
Yeah. Big win for Indiana. It's been a good week for Indiana football and the athletic department in general with a big win. So Molly's been upset all day because Nebraska choked last night.
It's really not Nebraska's fault. It's Rink not taking his vitamins and staying away from somebody who had the flu. Molly might have been around a rink. She could have given him the bug. We sure could have used him last night, couldn't we, Conrad?
Yeah, we could have.
No rink.
Absolutely could have. So it doesn't count, right?
Nope.
We've gotten back to our winning ways. I just want that to continue.
Yeah, I do too.
No more flu, bug, rinky.
1 o'clock hour, we'll have some winners. Coming up in the next hour, we got Trey Wallace, and he is a winner. Anything you need to know, any scuttlebutt, gossip, you're going to hear it here first from Trey. He's next.